I'm 89 years old. This morning I woke up and couldn't remember my daughter's voice. Not the sound of it now. I hear that once a week on the phone, maybe twice if she's not busy. I mean the way she used to sound. When she was 7, when she'd call for me from another room and I'd hear her little feet running down the hall. I sat there in bed for 20 minutes trying to pull it back. I could see her face. I could see the yellow dress she wore that summer. But the voice was gone. And I realized I don't have much time left to remember the things I didn't pay attention to when they were happening. That's what this is about. Not some lesson I learned in a book. Not advice I heard from someone smarter than me. This is what happens when you run out of time and finally understand that you spent most of it wrong. I don't know how to say this except plainly. I thought I was doing everything right. I worked hard. I provided. I kept my head down and met every responsibility they put in front of me. I believed that was what mattered. I believed my family would understand. They didn't, or maybe they did, and that's worse. When I was 32, I worked for a manufacturing company in Ohio. We made parts for machinery. Nothing glamorous, but it was steady work and the pay was decent, and I had a wife and 2 kids who needed things. I'd leave the house at 6:30 in the morning. I'd come home around 7 at night, sometimes later if there was overtime. And there was always overtime. My son was 5 then. My daughter was 3. I remember my wife asking me one night if I could put them to bed. She said they kept asking for me. I said I would. I meant it. But I was tired. I sat down in the chair by the TV and I told myself I'd rest for just a minute. I woke up 2 hours later and the house was quiet. I did that more times than I can count. There was always a reason. I'd had a long day. I had to be up early. I needed to decompress. And my wife was there. She was good with them. She didn't complain. So I let her handle it. I told myself I was doing my part by working. By making sure we didn't fall behind on the mortgage. By keeping the lights on and food in the fridge. That felt like love to me. I didn't know yet that love isn't something you provide. It's something you show up for. The years went by fast. My son started playing baseball. I said I'd go to his games. I went to a few. Maybe 5 or 6 over to seasons. I was always too tired or there was something at work that needed my attention. He stopped asking me to come. I noticed, but I didn't think much of it. I thought he understood. I thought he'd appreciate it later when he was older and realized how hard I'd worked for him. My daughter was quieter. She'd draw pictures at the kitchen table and bring them to me while I read the paper. She'd stand next to my chair and wait. I'd glance at them. I'd say they were nice. I'd tell her to go show her mother. She'd walk away and I'd go back to the sports section. I didn't know those were invitations. I didn't know she was asking me to see her. When she was 12, she stopped bringing me the pictures. I didn't notice that either. I kept working. I got a promotion. Then another. We moved to a bigger house. I was proud of that. I thought I was winning. But my kids were growing up without me. I don't mean I wasn't there. I was in the house. I sat at the dinner table most nights. I paid for their clothes and their school supplies and the class trips they wanted to go on. But I wasn't there. I didn't know what my son was afraid of. I didn't know what made my daughter laugh. I didn't know who their friends were, or what they talked about, or what kept them up at night. I knew my job. I knew deadlines and quotas and the names of men I worked with who I didn't even like. But I didn't know my own children. My wife tried to tell me. She'd say things like, "They miss you," or "You should talk to them more," or "They won't be kids forever." I'd nod. I'd say she was right. I'd tell her I'd do better. And I meant it. But I didn't change. Because I didn't think it was urgent. I thought I had time. That's the thing I didn't understand then. Time doesn't announce itself. It doesn't warn you when you're running out. It just keeps moving, and then one day you turn around and it's gone. My son left for college when he was 18. I drove him there. We didn't talk much on the way. I tried to give him advice about studying and staying focused and not wasting his opportunities. He said okay. We unloaded his things. I shook his hand. I told him I was proud of him. He said thanks. Then I drove home. I thought we'd stay close. I thought he'd call every week. Maybe come home for the holidays and we'd have time to really talk. He called a few times that first semester. Then less, then barely at all. When he did come home, he was polite. He'd sit with us for dinner. He'd answer questions if we asked. But he didn't offer anything. He didn't tell me about his life, because he'd learned a long time ago that I wasn't listening. My daughter left 2 years later. She went to a school on the other side of the country. She said she wanted to see something different. I said that was fine. I thought she'd miss home. I thought she'd come back. She didn't. She visits now. Once a year, maybe. She stays for 3 days and then she leaves. We don't fight. We're not angry at each other. It's worse than that. We're strangers. I can tell she loves me in some obligatory way. The way you love someone because they're family and you're supposed to. But there's no closeness. No history between us that feels warm, because I wasn't there to build it. I didn't go to her recitals. I didn't help her with her homework. I didn't ask her about her day or her dreams or what scared her. I was busy. And now she's 56 years old and I don't know her. And she doesn't know me. My wife died 4 years ago. Heart attack. It was quick. The doctor said she didn't suffer. I don't know if that's true. What I do know is that she spent 40 years married to a man who thought providing was the same as loving. She never said she was unhappy. But I think about the nights she went to bed alone while I stayed up watching TV. I think about the vacations we never took because I couldn't leave work. I think about how many times she tried to hold my hand and I was too distracted to notice. She deserved better. I know that now. After she died, I thought my kids would come around more. I thought we'd finally have time to be close. But they have their own lives, their own families, their own responsibilities. They call, they check in, but they don't stay. And I understand why. You can't build a relationship in reverse. You can't wait until you're old and lonely and suddenly expect people to show up for you when you didn't show up for them. I live alone now. I have a small apartment, 1 bedroom. It's quiet most of the time. I watch a lot of TV. I go for walks when my knees don't hurt too much. I get groceries delivered because driving makes me nervous now. Sometimes I sit by the window and watch people go by. Young couples, families, kids running ahead of their parents. I wonder if those parents know what they have. I wonder if they're making the same mistakes I did. I hope not. But I think they probably are. Because that's what we do. We convince ourselves that work matters more than presence. That success matters more than connection. That there will always be time later to make up for what we're missing now. There won't be. I can tell you that with certainty. There won't be more time. My son called me last month. He said his daughter, my granddaughter, was in a school play. He said she wanted me to come. I said I would. I meant it. But the night before, I didn't feel well. My chest was tight and I thought maybe I shouldn't drive that far. So I called him and told him I couldn't make it. He said it was fine. He said she'd understand. But I heard the disappointment in his voice. Not for him, for her. Because I was doing to her what I did to him. I was choosing not to show up. And the worst part is I don't know if I'll get another chance. I don't know how many more school plays or birthdays or phone calls I have left. I'm 89 years old. Most of the people I grew up with are dead. My body doesn't work the way it used to. I forget things. I get confused. I lose track of time. I don't have much left. And the thing that keeps me up at night isn't that I'm dying. It's that I wasted so much of the time I had. I worked 50 years. I made money. I bought things. I built a career. And none of it mattered. Not in the way I thought it would. No one remembers the promotion I got in 1982. No one cares how many hours I worked, or how hard I tried, or how responsible I was. What they remember is that I wasn't there. That's my legacy. Not the house I bought. Not the car I drove. Not the savings account I built. It's the absence. The empty chair at the table. The missed games. The pictures I didn't look at. The conversations I didn't have. That's what I left behind. If you're listening to this and you're young, I don't know if you'll understand what I'm saying. I hope you do. But I didn't understand it either when I was your age. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought hard work and responsibility were enough. They're not. Your kids don't need your money. They need your time. They need you to put your phone down and look at them. They need you to ask questions and listen to the answers. They need you to sit on the floor and play with them even when you're tired. They need you to show them that they matter more than anything else. Because one day they'll be gone. And you won't get that time back. You won't get another chance to hear their voice when they were small. You won't get another chance to tuck them in or read them a story or tell them you're proud of them. It'll be gone. And you'll sit in a quiet room like I do and try to remember what you missed. And you won't be able to, because you weren't paying attention. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Maybe because I don't have anyone else to tell. Maybe because I think if I say it out loud, it'll mean something. Maybe because I'm hoping one person will hear this and decide to do it differently. I don't know. What I do know is that I'm running out of time. And I can't fix what I broke. I can't go back and be the father I should have been. I can't give my wife the love she deserved. I can't undo 40 years of absence. All I can do is sit here and tell you the truth, and hope it's not too late for you.